Welcome back, horror fans, to a brand new season of terror. This is Season 7, Haunted Earth, Terror Beyond the Grave. We're kicking things off by exploring some of the most chilling abandoned places on the planet, starting with forgotten train stations. Tonight's episode is called The Last Train to Nowhere. They say that even now, the midnight train still passes through a town that was long ago erased from every map, a ghost town swallowed by time and forest. But the tracks remain, and so do the stories. Our tale begins with a young man. Let's call him Leo. Full of youthful bravado, he accepted a dare from his friends. Spend one night at the old, forgotten tracks just outside town, the ones that lead to nowhere. His friends laughed, promising to pick him up in the morning, assuming he'd give up and call them in an hour. Leo set up his little camp near the decaying railway ties, phone in hand, live streaming his brave adventure to his friends. The first couple of hours were boring. Crickets chirped, the wind rustled through the tall grass, but that was it. He joked with his friends online, mocking the local legends. But as the clock on his phone crept closer to midnight, the air grew heavy and cold. A thick, unnatural fog began to roll in, blanketing the landscape in a damp, gray shroud. It was so dense he could barely see his own feet. The crickets fell silent. And then it started. A low, grinding sound in the distance. It grew louder, a rhythmic clatter that vibrated through the ground beneath him. Wheels screeching on rusty metal. Leo's laughter caught in his throat. Through the oppressive fog, a single dim headlight pierced the gloom. A hulking, dark shape emerged from the mist. A train. It was ancient, covered in rust and grime, looking like it had been dredged from the bottom of a river. But it was moving, gliding almost silently along the decrepit tracks. As it slowed to a halt in front of him, Leo could just make out faint, pale faces pressed against the grimy windows of the passenger cars. Their eyes were dark, hollow voids, and their expressions were blank, frozen in a silent, eternal journey. The air crackled with a strange energy, and the smell of ozone and damp earth filled his nostrils. His heart hammered against his ribs. This couldn't be real. It had to be an elaborate prank. Just as that thought crossed his mind, a carriage door creaked open with a sound like a drawn-out groan. A figure stepped down onto the gravel. It was a conductor, dressed in a tattered, old-fashioned uniform. His face was obscured by the deep shadows of his cap, but his voice was crisp and clear, cutting through the silence like a shard of ice. "Ticket?" he asked, extending a gaunt, gloved hand. Leo stared, frozen for a moment, before a nervous laugh escaped his lips. "Ticket? Man, you guys are good," he stammered, still trying to convince himself it was a trick. "Where did you even find a working train? This is amazing." He pulled out his phone, trying to get a clear shot of the conductor, but the screen just showed static and fog. The conductor didn't move. He simply repeated, his voice colder this time, devoid of any emotion. "Ticket, please. The train is leaving." The shadows around the train seemed to deepen, to stretch and writhe like living things. Leo felt a pull, a strange, irresistible force drawing him towards the open door. His laughter died. The fear was real now, cold and sharp. He took an involuntary step forward. The conductor's shadowy form seemed to loom over him, and the train's dark, hulking presence swallowed the light, swallowed the air, swallowed all sound except for the frantic beating of his own heart. The train's shadow fell over him completely. The next morning, his friends returned as promised, expecting to find a sheepish Leo waiting for them. But the clearing was empty. There was no sign of a struggle, no footprints other than Leo's own from the night before. All they found was his phone, lying in the damp grass, its battery nearly dead. They played the last video he recorded. It was mostly just shaky footage of the fog, but right at the end, as the screen flickered and died, you could hear it. A single, mournful sound, echoing as if from a great distance, the whistle of a train, fading away into the morning mist. What really happened to Leo on that last train to nowhere? The full story is even more chilling. If you want to uncover all the terrifying details behind the last train to nowhere, the full extended version is linked right here on our channel. Go watch it now. If you love scary stories and want to join us for more journeys into the unknown, don't forget to follow and subscribe for more horror chills all season long. Thank you for watching.